Yeah, we are live, but I will go and put those messages now.
Hare Krishna.
Facebook.
Wiping to the topic name also. Hare Krishna Vijay, Vishak Prabhu.
Okay, Prabhu, you can now go ahead.
So Prabhu, first we'll do Jai Radha Madhav. Hare Krishna, thank you for joining. We'll quickly sing Kirtan and then we can, yeah. Should we start, Prabhu?
Sorry, I was talking on mute. Please go ahead now, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, one of my finger has hurt, so I will repeat. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Vraja Jana Ranjana Jaya Vraja Jana Ranjana Jaya Yashodanandana Jaya Vraja Jana Ranjana Jaya Vraja Jana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Jai Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Jai Shri Radhe. Jaya Radha Madan Mohan Radha Madan Mohan Jai Shri Radhe. Jaya Mahaprabhu 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 Jaya Narsimha Dev Narsimha Dev Narsimha Dev Jaya Narsimha Dev Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol. I got one on the Hari Hari Bol. Can we do the Mangalacharan prayers and then we can start? Thank you. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Krishna Namaste Saraswati Gaurvani Pacharini Vishwashundari Pashureshtarini Gayate Girimit Prabhatam Mande Shri Guru Dinataranam Brahmanandam. Hare Krishna. Thank you again for joining. And also thank you devotees for joining on Zoom. Hare Krishna. So today in ISV temple, ISKCON Silicon Valley temple, we have something called as a chapter a day, where every day devotees from all over the world, they read one chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It could be translations, it could be verses, either of them. And usually, depending on the chapter, it takes 10 to 15 minutes every day. So, especially for this month, we are reading chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita. So I thought maybe we can discuss from that chapter only, chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita, and just to ease the entire understanding and remembrance, I kept an acronym for that entire summarization of chapter 11 also. So just making a humble attempt to summarize the chapter 11 of Bhagavad Gita. If you see, we are very fortunate that we are getting a chance to read the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna. So, if we see entire our Vedic canon, all the Vedas that we have, mostly it is all based on conversations, right? Srimad Bhagavatam, if we see, there is conversation between Naimisharanya Rishi and Sutta Goswami. Then there is conversation between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. Then Chaitanya Charitamrita has some more conversations. In fact, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is one place in 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a place where there are 6 layers of conversation. Conversation within a conversation, it's like Inception. Conversation within a conversation, within a conversation, within a conversation. Inception movie, by the way. Yeah. So the first conversation starts between Naimisharanya Rishi and Sutta Goswami. Then they are quoting the conversation between Shukadeva Goswami and Parikshit Maharaj. And Shukadeva Goswami is quoting the conversation of Narad Muni. Narad Muni is quoting of Hiranyakashipu. Imagine, Narad Muni is quoting the conversation of Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu is quoting the conversation of Yamraj, and Yamraj is quoting the conversation of Kulinga bird, about Kulinga bird. Of all the way, it ends at a bird. So that's Bhagavatam. So that is layer after layer after layer. So conversation is given a lot of importance in our Vedic scriptures. Srila Jiva Goswami, Prabhu, if you want, we can for now stop the presentation. We will start, we'll come to that also. If you see Srila Jiva Goswami, he explains that there are actually 3 kinds of conversation. 3 kinds of conversation based on different modes. Like we have happiness in 3 modes. Similarly, conversations also can also be of 3 modes. So the lowest mode is obviously the mode of ignorance, and that type of conversation is known as Vitanda, and that is mode of ignorance. In that kind of conversation, one party is trying to somehow defeat the other party. That is the only goal of the conversation, is to defeat the other party or to deflate the other party. So that is Vitanda, completely mode of ignorance kind of conversation. And we can see that conversation, especially with our dear and near ones, right? Sometimes because we take them for granted. We take our near and dear ones for granted, especially spouse and roommates, right? Because they know everything of us and we just sometimes just go all the way. It's like those kind of conversations. They are like completely mode of ignorance. The agenda is very simple, defeating the other person. And Sri Jiva Goswami is saying that kind of conversation is known as mode of ignorance, Vitanda. Then there is little higher kind of conversation that is known as Jalpa. That is a conversation which is done in a mode of passion. In this kind of conversation, the idea is not to defeat the other person, but the idea is to, by some points, try to show that the first party, the person who is conversing, is superior, trying to show off. Those kind of conversation. That is known as Jalpa, mode of passion. That we usually show with someone who we have met, but not so frequently, sort of people, right? So we might do something similar to that. So that, according to Sri Jiva Goswami, that is Jalpa kind of conversation, which is mode of passion, completely mode of passion. We're just trying to show off or try to show ourselves as superior. And then above that, so first is Vitanda, mode of ignorance. Above that is mode of passion or Jalpa. And above that is Vada, which is mode of goodness kind of conversation. In that kind of conversation, the idea about both the parties is to learn and to see how they can be inspired to do something good. And not just to do something good, but to find the truth and to enlighten oneself and others. So that is the agenda in that conversation. So that kind of conversation is considered as mode of goodness or Vada. So Vitanda, Jalpa, and then Vada. But then Sri Jiva Goswami says that these are at material level, these 3 kind of conversations. But the conversation which goes beyond these 3 modes of material nature is known as Samvad. That means that Samvad means that kind of conversation which actually goes beyond the 3 modes, and the focus is how we can understand the absolute truth. how we can understand Krishna, what are the ways by which we can become eternally happy. So that is the goal of that conversation, and that conversation is known as Samvad. So if you see in Vitanda also, party trying to defeat others, you might think of Facebook. Sometimes there is fight, right? Trying in the comment section, people are trying to just defeat each other. Or in social media, media houses, right? Where at 9 p.m. or 8 p.m., whatever, something will start and there will be panels, and each person in the panel will be trying to defeat each other. But from that to Samvad, where the goal is how one can understand the absolute truth. But you might hear this word Samvad at various level, even in some for some television serial also you might hear the word Samvad, but actually they are not having anything about absolute truth. But the reason is because that is the nature of the material world. They bring something from the scriptures, but they misuse the terms. Like for example, we have this famous tagline of one of the insurance companies, Yogakshemam Vahamyaham, and you might have heard Yogakshemam Vahamyaham. So that is also, if you see, that is actually coming from Bhagavad Gita. Krishna is saying to Arjuna. But one of them has made this as a tagline. It means that I will protect you for eternally. They can't even protect their own company. That company also will die someday. Correct? And even after insurance, even after giving the insurance, the man is supposed to die anyways. So what kind of eternal protection that company can give, right? But they use the terms from scriptures to sound it a little cooler, right? Cool. But similarly, Samvad means that one which gives enlightenment. And that's why if you see in Vedic scriptures, in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is a verse which says, Karadasya cha Samvadam Hari Khatam. It basically means that you will see in Srimad Bhagavatam also that there is word used, Samvad. There is a place where Narad Muni is talking to Prachetas, and then that verse, 4th canto, the word Samvad is used. In fact, in Bhagavad Gita only, in 18th chapter, you will see series of verses. Actually, let's go to that. So, can we go to 18th chapter, verse number 70? There are series of verses which you can share vedabase.com. In that you can go to 70th verse. There are series of verses where Bhagavad Gita is using the word Samvad. Yeah. So we can just read it. It's very nice. It just gives us more conscious of this word. Yeah. See, Prabhu actually highlighted it. Ashray Madhav Prabhu. Adeshyate cha ya imam dharmyam samvadam avayo jnana yagyena tenaham ishtasyam iti me mati. Can we go to translation? It says, and I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation, this sacred means the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, and that's what we are going to hear now, the conversation between Krishna and Arjuna, right? And I declare that he who studies this sacred conversation of ours worship me by his intelligence. Then can we go to 74th verse? 4th. 74. Here also if we see, Sanjay is saying, Sanjay Uvacha Ityaham Vasudevasya Parthasya cha Mahatmana Samvadam Imam Aushrosham Adbhutam Romaharshanam. He's saying Samvadam Imam Aushrosham. Right? Aushrosham, heard. Sanjay said, thus I have heard the conversation. Now Sanjay is saying, I have heard the conversation of two great souls. Right? Basically, I'm trying to set up the stage for 11th chapter, which means that we need to understand that this conversation that we're going to now read is very, very important. Sanjay now is saying, as I have heard the conversation of the two great souls, Krishna and Arjuna. And so wonderful is that message that my hair is standing on end. Right? So is there a purport? Can we go down? I think there is a purport. Yeah, we quickly read it. In the beginning of Bhagavad Gita, Dhritarashtra inquired from his secretary Sanjay what happened on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. The entire study was related to the heart of Sanjay by the grace of his spiritual master Vyasa. He thus explained the theme of the battlefield. The conversation was wonderful because such an important conversation between two great souls had never taken place before, and would not take place again. It was wonderful because the Supreme Personality of Godhead was speaking about himself and his energies to the living entity. Arjuna, a great devotee of the Lord. If we follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna, we will see that how Arjuna is now understanding Krishna in 11th chapter. Then our life will be happy and successful. Sanjay realized this, and as he began to understand it, he related the conversation to Dhritarashtra. Now it is concluded that wherever there is Krishna and Arjuna, there is victory. So here also he is saying that conversation, samvad. So can we go to 76th verse? That is the last verse. So here he is saying, now Arjun, Sanjay is saying, he is remembering it again and again. Rajan samsritya samvadam imam adbhutam keshavarjunayo punyam rishyami chamuhu muhu. Right? Samsritya is remembering. O king, as I repeatedly recall this wondrous and holy dialogue between Krishna and Arjuna, Keshava Arjunayo, I take pleasure being thrilled at every moment. Right? So here he is saying that I am feeling thrilled, just hearing and remembering, not just hearing also, now just remembering also that sacred conversation, that samvad between Krishna and Arjuna. So can we go down? Okay, purport. Does someone want to volunteer to read the purport? Anyone can volunteer. The devotees who are joined online.
I can read.
Sure. Bro.
The understanding of Bhagavad Gita is so transcendental that anyone who becomes conversant with the topics of Arjuna and Krishna becomes righteous, and he cannot forget such talks. This is the transcendental position of spiritual life. In other words, one who hears the Gita from the right source, directly from Krishna, attains full Krishna consciousness. The result of Krishna consciousness is that one becomes increasingly enlightened, and he enjoys life with a thrill, not only for some time, but at every moment. Prabhu, I think you are muted, Prabhu.
So here we are seeing that how Krishna and Arjuna, they are having a samvad between each other. And Sanjay is recalling everything and feeling very, very lot of pleasure and thrill at every moment. So this is samvad, this is the conversation. And obviously, we should feel fortunate that we are getting a chance, obviously because of Srila Prabhupada, we are getting a chance to hear about and understand the samvad. There are many people who are trying to read Bhagavad Gita, but they are not able to understand. Why? Because there is no commentary. The translation is also sometimes having their own, the speaker has, the person who is writing has their own understanding, which can be speculative. But here, Srila Prabhupada has written everything by the understanding of the disciples or the disciples. So, disciplic succession. And that is why this Bhagavad Gita is known as Bhagavad Gita as it is. Because there is no change based on the teachings, what he has got from the previous acharyas. So, especially today, we are reading from chapter 11, which is the universal form. So, we will now go to the chapter 11. And how did chapter 11 starts is, and in the 10th chapter of 42nd verse, the last verse. So, can we go to that verse? Just I'll just start with the connection between how 10th and 11th chapter is connected, from where 11th chapter actually starts. So in the 10th chapter, Krishna here is giving his opulence, because Arjuna asked, if I want to remember you, how can I remember you? Through his opulences, right? So Krishna starts giving us opulence. Among ether, I am the sound. Among this, I am the taste of water. I'm Himalayas, I'm this. So everything he starts giving all the opulences. But if you see, it's only one chapter, maybe 20, 30 verses, right? So, but Krishna has so many opulences. So how it will be possible for him to complete, to speak about all the opulences? So at the end of the entire 10th chapter, he says, Athava bhaunai tena kim gyatena tavarjuna yashtabhyaham idam krishnam ekamshena sthito jagat. He's saying, but what need is there, Arjuna, for all this detailed knowledge? Now he gave all the opulences, and now he's saying, what is the need of knowing all these opulences, all this detailed knowledge, with a single fragment of myself? I pervade and support this entire universe. He's saying, just single fragment of myself, I pervade and support this entire universe. So someone might think that, oh, Krishna is just saying for the sake of saying it, right? Sometimes we might meet a friend And just to show off, we might say that, oh, that is mine, this is mine, this is mine, this is mine. But actually, truth is nothing is ours. It could be, right? He's just lying. Someone might think that Krishna is also lying. So in the 11th chapter, Arjuna, just not to for himself, but to all the hearers who are reading Bhagavad Gita, to develop conviction and faith in Krishna, he is asking you, please show your universal form, so that then people can understand that is actually pervading everywhere. Therefore, Krishna is saying here that I pervade everywhere. Correct? So that's why this 11th chapter starts, where Krishna is saying, Arjuna is saying, you are saying you're pervading everywhere. You are just single fragment of yourself. Can you please give that darshan, that universal form of yours? Right? So that's where the 11th chapter starts. So we can go to now the slide deck. Yeah. So interestingly, I was just recently talking to one devotee close, and I was just saying that I was thinking of speaking on chapter 11, and I was thinking to keep, and I said Virata as the summarize the chapter 11. And after a little bit discussing, he said, Prabhu, should I say something to you? I said, yeah, tell me. He said, as soon as you said Virat, right, first thing came to my mind was Kohli. And I just laughed. And then I said, to be honest, Prabhu, when I first heard about Virat in chapter 11, I also thought about Kohli only. Then obviously, after reading so many times, we can now connect with Rupa, Virat Rupa. That is the name of the chapter in Sanskrit. But sometimes this Kohli also comes. But that is the nature of the material world. Once this is known as Bob is back syndrome. So this word was coined by Chaitanya. Once one devotee asked him that, Prabhu, so many, we might have stopped listening to Bollywood songs for a long time, and still sometime suddenly that song pops into our head and we start murmuring that song. And then Chaitanya said that is known as Bob is back syndrome. And he said that once there was a devotee, his name was Bob, and he got initiated name also. And then he asked once this same question to me. And we see that, right? Sometimes we are in some Indian store, and suddenly we will start hearing some song from the TV. We might have our headphones and everything on, but still that sound will be so dominating, and we might be hearing, and in between we might even murmur that song, and then we realize, okay, no, let's just focus on Krishna, because that is what our goal should be, to become Krishna conscious. So anyways, on the side note, but just to keep the name of the chapter in Sanskrit is Virat Rupa. So I just thought we'll keep, just to keep it easier, we'll just keep the acronym as Virata. So obviously by this you can understand the entire chapter is divided into 5 parts, 5 sections. So what we'll be doing is we will be reading all the translations of the entire chapter, which is 55 verses. We'll go through it. That way, devotees who have not completed their chat today, they can complete it. So we'll read the entire 55 verses, and we'll also discuss a little bit. And obviously, we will see what are the different sections that Krishna is covering in this chapter of Bhagavad Gita, which is chapter 11. Okay, so we will start now. We'll read the first section, which is V. And the first section of chapter 11 is from verse 1 to verse 8. In this section, there are 2 parts where the topic is vision. Vision is because Arjuna is asking Krishna, if you think, because you said in 42nd verse that you pervade everywhere, an entire universe you are pervading. So if you think I'm capable, can you please show me your cosmic form? So able to see, also known as vision. Can you please show me your cosmic form? And then Krishna tells Arjuna that if you want to see that cosmic form, you need to have special eyes. So I'll give you that vision. I'll give you that vision by which you can see that cosmic form, right? So this is basically the main focus of this 8 verses, first 8 verses, which is vision, where Arjuna is asking for the vision to see Krishna, and then Krishna is also giving the vision so that he can be seen as a universal form. Okay, someone wants to volunteer to read this 8 verses.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Who wants to read?
I can read, Prabhu.
Okay, sure. Anil Prabhu, yes, please read.
Text 1. Arjuna said, by my hearing the instructions you have kindly given me about these most confidential spiritual subjects, my illusion has now been dispelled. Text 2. O lotus-eyed one, I have heard from you in detail about the appearance and disappearance of every living entity and have realized your inexhaustible glories. Text 3. O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position, as you have described yourself, I wish to see how you have entered into this cosmic manifestation. I want to see that form of yours. Text 4. If you think that I am able to behold your cosmic form, O my Lord, O Master of all mystic power, then kindly show me that unlimited universal self.
You can go to the next one. If you want, you can click on the slideshow. That way you have to just click on next then. Yeah.
Text 5. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, O son of Pritha, see now my opulences, hundreds of thousands of very divine and multicolored forms. Text 6. O best of the Bharatas, see here the different manifestations of Adityas, Vasus, Rudras, Ashwini Kumaras, and all the other demigods. Behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard of before. Text 7. O Arjuna, whatever you wish to see, behold at once in this body of mine. This universal form can show you whatever you now desire to see and whatever you may want to see in the future. Everything, moving and non moving, is here completely in one place. Text 8. But you cannot see me with your present eyes. Therefore, I give you divine eyes. Behold my mystic opulence. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Anil Prabhu. So can we go to the previous slide again? So here he is saying that I wish to see, O greatest of all personalities, O supreme form, though I see you here before me in your actual position as you have described yourself. In this section, Srila Prabhupada actually writes in the purport that how Arjuna here is not just asking for himself, but is asking for all the people and to keep impostors away. Because if you see, sometimes there is a joke that India has generated the highest number of incarnations of God. Why? Because so many imposters, sometimes they say that they are God. Like once I was just walking by and on the back of the t-shirt, on the front of the t-shirt, it was mentioned that I used to be an atheist. So after reading that, I thought, okay, used to be an atheist, so it's okay. He used to be, now things have changed. And when he crossed by, from walking, when he crossed by, on his back, it was written, till the time I understood that I am God. So people have various understanding of God. For some people, God means gas, oil, and defense. For some, it means generator, operator, and maintainer. Right? Very few understand that God also means one who loves and who can be loved. Right? So people have their own understanding of God. But here Krishna is saying that one of the ways one can understand that he is God or not, if he can show the universal form. Right? The full universal form by which he can show that he is pervading everywhere, in everything. Someone might ask the question that how can Krishna, who is such a universal, who has such a universal form, so huge, right, which is pervading everywhere, can show to Arjuna, who is a small, right? But Krishna, by his potency, he has a potency to show himself as an infinite to an infinite small. Infinite small means puny, and infinite means huge. So he has a potency to show himself as infinite to an infinite small. If he is not able to do so, then he is not God. Right? He has that potency, and that is why he is Arjuna is able to witness, or he is asking to show me that form. Right? And then in the next section, in the verse number 6, if we go in that section, so can we go to the verse number 6? Yeah. In the verse number 6, if we see, O best of Bharata, see here in different manifestations, then he says, behold the many wonderful things which no one has ever seen or heard before, right? But we see this, a glimpse that Krishna has actually showed that before also, universal form, but not completely, but little fraction. And that is to Duryodhana, right? When Krishna comes as a Shanti Dut to Duryodhana, he shows his Vishwarup form. But what was the reaction of Duryodhana? He became angry actually. He thought that it is some Mayavi. And he became angry and he tried to capture Krishna, right? And similarly, Krishna also showed a glimpse of the universal form to Mother Yashoda. Right? Mother Yashoda says, Lala, Lala, and then Krishna says, yes, Maya. Then Mother Yashoda says, eating dirt, no Maya. Telling lies, no Maya. Open your mouth, and then he shows the universal form. And then Mother Yashoda gets completely bewildered that he is my Lala or what he is. What is this universal form that he is showing inside all the planets, all the universes, right? So Mother Yashoda didn't become angry seeing that, but she was actually scared. Why? Because she was thinking that my rasa will be destroyed now, because I take him as my little boy. But now understanding that he is Supreme Personality of Godhead, it doesn't go well, right? If you know your son is a great prime minister or something, you might not be able to, suddenly if you come to know, gradually yes, but suddenly if you come to know, you will be a little scared to approach, right? So similarly, Yashoda Maya also got a little scared, but then obviously Krishna didn't want that rasa to be affected, because he loved that rasa of the parent-child relationship with Mother Yashoda. So he covered that scene that Mother Yashoda had seen of Krishna's universal, many universes in his mouth, right? So we see that how different people seeing the certain part of Krishna, they react differently. When Arjuna also saw the universal form, he was humbled. We will see that he was humbled, and there was a rasa of wonder, Vibhatsa. And if we see Mother Yashoda also, she was also scared, but in the sense of that rasa, that her Vatsalya will get minimized. But Duryodhana, when he saw a glimpse of the universal form, he actually became angry, right? And that is the nature of a thief. Even if you show them the proof that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, they will, because they have so much contamination in their heart and so much envy, instead of becoming humble, they might even become angry. So we see here in the pastime of Duryodhana. Yeah. Anyways, going ahead, Krishna is then showing, gives him the divine eyes to Arjuna, so that Arjuna can see the entire universal form. Okay, now we'll go to the next section from 9 to 31. So here also, if we see so first one was vision. Now 9 to 31 is inconceivable universal form. Why it is inconceivable? Because one cannot understand. We can just read through the books, but it is very difficult to understand how the universal form looks like. There is one place where Arjuna is telling that you have no middle, no start, no end. In our material conception, we cannot understand this. How can something has no start, no middle, no end, right? I mean, for us, everything should have a start, should have an end, and there should be obviously some middle, right? But here he's saying that you have no start, no middle, no end, but you are pervading everywhere. It's inconceivable, it's unimaginable, right? And that is why the topic is inconceivable universal. The universal form he is showing, but that is not easy to conceive. It is not easy to understand. So we will read from 9 to 31. This is a long section, so we can read one slide at a time maybe. So who wants to volunteer to read this? This is from 9 to 15. We can read first.
I can read, Prabhu.
Sure, Smita Mataji. Okay, thank you, Mataji.
Text 9, Sanjaya said, O king, having spoken thus, the Supreme Lord of all mystic power, the personality of Godhead, displayed his universal form to Arjuna. Text 10 to 11. Arjuna saw in that universal form unlimited mouths, unlimited eyes, unlimited wonderful visions. The form was decorated with many celestial ornaments and wore many divine upraised weapons. He wore celestial garlands and garments, and many divine scents were smeared over his body. All was wondrous, brilliant, unlimited, all expanding. Text 12. If hundreds of thousands of suns were to rise at once into the sky, their radiance might resemble the effulgence of the Supreme Person in that universal form. Text 13. At that time, Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord the unlimited expansions of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. Text 14. Then, bewildered and astonished, his hair standing on end, Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances and with folded hands began to pray to the Supreme Lord. Text 15. Arjuna said, My dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. I see Brahma sitting on the lotus flower, as well as Lord Shiva and all the sages and divine serpents.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you,
Hare
Mataji.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So we see here Krishna is saying that at that time, so this is being spoken by Sanjay. Why? Because Krishna is busy showing his universal form. Arjuna is completely in wonder. He is not able to understand what he is saying. So now who will speak, right? So he is busy showing, he is busy in seeing. So Sanjay is taking the task of speaking, right? What Arjuna is actually witnessing. And what he's also saying, Sanjay is also saying. So Sanjay here is saying that Arjuna could see in the universal form of the Lord, he is infinite small. Arjuna is infinite small. The unlimited expansion of the universe situated in one place, although divided into many, many thousands. How to understand this? Right? When I was reading this verse, I suddenly remembered of my childhood. Oh, can we go to the next slide? I don't know if that is the slide. Can we go to the next slide? Next. Yeah, that's one. So I remember that whenever possible, I mean, like 10, some place like 5 minutes from my house, there was a big TV shop. And we used to, that time in our home, we used to have only Doordarshan running, no other channels were there. So whenever I get a chance of sneaking out, I used to enter this TV showroom, and I used to just wonder how is it possible that there are so many channels. And the best part was I was able to access all those channels at one shot. Right? This is just a glimpse of what Arjuna was seeing. This is just like, you can say, perverted form of what Arjuna actually was seeing. Unlimited form together in unlimited ways of Krishna. This we are seeing. I mean, the TV showroom is showing unlimited channels in one place. And right hand side, this this one was my first interaction when I was in. I first joined the company, and my colleague. There was a deployment happening, and suddenly he was opening a lot of black screens, small screens. And I was wondering what is he doing, and he was telling me that I'm looking into hundreds of servers together to see if there is any issue. So again, another example where he is pervading himself in hundreds of servers to see there's a problem sitting at one place. So obviously it is just a crude way of what Arjuna was actually seeing. But we can see in our place, I mean, just having some little bit of scientific progression, we see this where we can see many things sitting at one place. So what to speak of Arjuna, who got divine eyes. So for him to see unlimited expansions of Krishna is definitely not difficult, right? That's why if you see 14th verse, can we go to the 14th verse? No, behind. Here Arjuna is saying that Arjuna bowed his head to offer obeisances because he was astonished, and with folded hands began to pray to Supreme Lord. Right? He got astonished, but he understood it is possible because he is Krishna. Right? But Duryodhan, what he thought this is just some Mayavi, some mystic or some magician. Right? That's why for a devotee, if someone comes and tell that if he asks that what is Vishnu doing, and if the person comes and tells to the devotee that Vishnu was actually eyeing the tail of an elephant into the eye of a needle, was threading tail of an elephant into the eye of a needle, a devotee will not be shocked. devotee will understand, if from a small seed a huge banyan tree can come, then putting a tail of an elephant into the eye of a needle is not at all difficult. But for a demon, he will just be thinking that this is not possible, right? The Brahmana thought that it is not possible. But the cobbler, who was a devotee, Vaishnava, he said it is possible for Krishna to do that, for Vishnu to do that. That is the difference between a devotee and a demon. So here, that's why Arjuna, immediately seeing that entire form of Krishna, he bowed his head immediately to offer obeisances, and with folded hands starts praying, began to pray. Okay, we'll go to the next verse. Yeah, and that's why if you see, we all understand that we are going to die, but still in the heart of the heart, we think that maybe by some chance we'll be alive, right? That is something is known as demonic tendency, right? When in Mahabharata it is asked, I forgot who was asked, but anyways, he was asked that what is one thing that you are very much amazed about? And then the person says that I'm amazed that everyone knows that they are going to die and still they think that they will live forever, right? That is demonic tendency. We don't understand the power of Krishna. Krishna will say that death I am, time I am the destroyer of the whole universe. Anyways, you can go ahead. Smita Mataji, you can only continue maybe this section also. Yes.
Sure, Prabhu. Text 16. O Lord of the universe, O universal form, I see in your body many, many arms, bellies, mouth, and eyes, expanded everywhere without limit. I see in you no end, no middle, and no beginning. Text 17. Your form is difficult to see because of its glaring effulgence spreading on all sides like blazing fire or the immeasurable radiance of the sun. Yet I see this glowing form everywhere, adorned with various crowns, clubs, and discs. Text 18. You are the supreme primal objective. You are the ultimate resting place of all this universe. You are inexhaustible and you are the oldest. You are the maintainer of the eternal religion, the personality of Godhead. This is my opinion. Text 19. You are without origin, middle, or end. Your glory is unlimited. You have numberless arms, and the sun and moon are your eyes. I see you with blazing fire coming forth from your mouth, burning this entire universe by your own radiance. Text 20. Although you are one, you spread throughout the sky and the planets and all space between. O great one, seeing this wondrous and terrible form, all the planetary systems are perturbed. Text 21. All the hosts of demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Some of them, very much afraid, are offering prayers with folded hands. Hosts of great sages and perfected beings, crying all peace, are praying to you by singing the Vedic hymns.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. Yeah, so thank you, Ashray Madhav Prabhu. So that was, so Yaksha is asking you this question. What you are most amazed about? Yeah, so that he says Yudhishthira, so everybody is going to die, but still they think that they're going to be alive. Yeah, thank you, Smita Mataji, for reading this. In this also, if you see, there is a glimpse of inception, and that is why it is inconceivable in universal form. So can we go to the 15th verse? Can we go to the previous section? Just want to show you something. No, previous verse. Yeah, behind. See, here Krishna is saying that Arjuna said, my dear Lord Krishna, I see assembled in your body all the demigods and various other living entities. So what Arjuna is saying, that many, many demigods as the part of Krishna's body, right, in your body. Correct. And now we can go to the 21st verse. Who can we go ahead? Here, no, previous verse. Here Krishna is saying all the hosts of the demigods are surrendering before you and entering into you. Right? So they are situated and now they're entering also. How is that possible? Correct? It is same as Yashoda Maya seeing when she saw Krishna opening his mouth and she saw the many, many universes. In that universe, in particular universe, she saw that she is seeing Krishna and she's playing with Krishna in Vrindavan. How is it possible? Yashoda is seeing herself. Similarly, demigods are seeing themselves entering into first they are there in the Virat Rupa and they're also entering into in the mouth of Krishna or the universal form. So it's very inconceivable. It is, one cannot understand by scientific reasoning. One cannot understand by scientific reasoning. Right? That's why Srila Prabhupada used to say, it is not an armchair philosophy. Krishna consciousness is not an armchair philosophy. Right? Krishna is very inconceivable. Okay, we'll go ahead. Okay, someone else wants to read. This is the Tibetan picture of Virat Rupa.
Okay, Prabhu, I will read.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu.
All the various manifestations of Lord Shiva, the Adityas, the Vasus, the Sadhyas, the Visvadevas, the two Aswins, the Maruts, the forefathers, the Gandharvas, the Yakshas, the Asuras, and the perfected demigods are beholding you in wonder. O mighty armed one, all the planets with the demigods are disturbed at seeing your great form, with its many faces, eyes, arms, thighs, legs, and bellies, and your many terrible teeth. And as they are disturbed, so am I. All pervading Vishnu, seeing you with your many radiant colors touching the sky, your gaping mouths, and your great glowing eyes, my mind is perturbed by fear. I can no longer maintain my steadiness or equilibrium of mind. O Lord of Lords, O refuge of the worlds, please be gracious to me. I cannot keep my balance, seeing thus your blazing death-like faces and awful teeth. In all directions, I am bewildered.
Yeah. So you can go to the next one also, and you can complete that. Yeah. You can complete this section, Prabhu. This is the end of section 2.
All the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings and Bhishma, Drona, Karna, and our chief soldiers, also are rushing into your fearful mouths. And some I see trapped with heads smashed between your teeth. As the many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, so do all these great warriors enter blazing into your mouths. I see all people rushing full speed into your mouths as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. O Vishnu, I see you devouring all people from all sides with your flaming mouths. Covering all the universe with your effulgence, you are manifest with terrible, scorching rays. O Lord of Lords, so fierce of form, please tell me who you are. I offer my obeisances unto you. Please be gracious to me. You are the primal Lord. I want to know about you, for I do not know what your mission is.
Yeah, so here Arjuna is asking 2 questions. I want to know more, want to know about you. Now he's confused. See, Arjuna was thinking that he is my Sakha, right? He's my friend. And right now he's my driver also. But now he's confused. Man, who are you? And what is your mission? I mean, see, once you're inviting some friend of yours, he's coming for the dinner. Suddenly he's showing his universal form, let's say, something great or something. Then you get confused and say, what is your agenda? I mean, why have you come to Earth also for the first place? Right? Because Earth is also like a puny particle for him. So now he's confused. What exactly he has come for? So he is asking these 2 questions. I want to know about you, and I do not know what your mission is. So what is your mission? Indirectly is asking. So we will see that in the next section. But previous to that, in this, if you see, now Sanjaya is seeing all this. So Dhritarashtra also know that all the sons of Dhritarashtra, along with their allied kings, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, everyone is going to die. Right? They are getting smashed between their teeth, between Krishna's teeth, the universal form. Still, Dhritarashtra didn't feel that, okay, let's stop. Why? Because that is the nature of demon. Maybe by chance, this time it will be different. And you always feel that maybe this time it will be different. So same thing, Dhritarashtra was thinking, maybe something different will happen. And you see, purposely, there are two analogies given. One is many waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, right? Again, people entering into Krishna, universal form. Another is given rushing full speed into your mouth as moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. Again, entering only. But waves of the rivers flow into the ocean. This is meant for actually for warriors like Bhishma and Drona. But for Duryodhan and his some of the cruel brothers, this analogy is used. Moths dash to destruction in a blazing fire. Right? So poetic, right? So for 28th, it is for Bhishma Drona. 29th, it is for people like Duryodhan. That's why there are two different analogies used here. One is waves of the rivers flow into the ocean, and 29th is Mons dash to the destruction, right? And seeing this, one might say that, oh, what to say? Even devotees will die, right? So how to distinguish between demons dying and devotees dying? And what is how to understand the difference? So once Radhika Raman Prabhu was telling that death can be perceived in three different ways based on the consciousness. For a materialistic person, death is like an axe. Death is like an axe. Like, for example, Hiranyakashipu, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham. I take away everything, including the body as well. Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham. Hiranyakashipu, he was just having nice time with Prahlad Maharaj, saying that, where is your God? Tell me, where is your God? Right? Is he in this pillar? He knew that this pillar I only built with cement and that steel rod and all. I never injected Narasimhadev inside it. So he was just having that pride, and he said, he's in this pillar. And suddenly Narasimhadev appeared in that pillar, and he was completely shocked. Right? So the death comes as an axe. It comes without telling you. It will just come. That is for materialists who have completely led the life of demoniac tendencies. Right? For them, death is like an axe. Mrityu Sarva Haraschaham. Right? But for yogis or for kshatriyas, death is actually like a tool, because they use that death to achieve the next destination. That is for yogis and for kshatriyas. Right? Swarga dwaram apavritam. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita. So can we go to verse number 232 of Bhagavad Gita? There Krishna says that for kshatriyas or yogis, death is like a tool. 232. Now we can go to that Vedabase.com. So for materialists, death is like an axe. For yogis or kshatriyas, death is like a tool. Like how we have to go from one station to another, we need a train. We use the tool, train as a tool to go from one station to another. Similarly, yogis or kshatriyas, they use death to go to the next destination. They are not so frightened as the materialists. O Partha, happy are the kshatriyas to whom such fighting opportunities come unsought, opening for them the doors of the heavenly planets. So Krishna says to Arjuna that if you fight, even if you get defeated, still you will get the destination. At least you will get the Swarga, right? Because you are doing the duty of a kshatriya. The duty of kshatriya is to fight. So for materialists, death comes as an axe. For yogis or kshatriyas, death comes as a tool. But for devotees, death comes like an invitation. It comes like a marriage invitation. Like once Radhan Maharaj was saying that when Bhakti Tirth Maharaj was lying on the bed near him, about to leave the body, there was a roaring kirtan happening. And that time, Bhakti Tirth Maharaj was holding Radhan Maharaj's hand, and he said, it cannot get better than this. Imagine, he might be getting so much pain, right? Because of some disease. But because of the roaring kirtan happening, he tells to Radhan Maharaj, it cannot get better than this. Even if someone asks me to exchange my place, I don't want to. Right? That is a devotee. For devotee, it comes as a marriage invitation. And we see that in Dhruv Maharaj's story also, right? So can we go to 4th canto? There is one section when he's leaving. We'll see, 4th section of Srimad Bhagavatam. 4th canto. Can you scroll down? Yeah. Can you go to 12th chapter? Yeah. Dhruv Maharaj goes back to Godhead. Can you scroll down? Scroll down. Scroll down. Yeah, as soon as, yeah. So if you see here, 19th verse, as soon as the symptoms of his liberation were manifest. So here, if you see, so Dhruv Maharaj is now meditating. So as soon as the symptoms of his liberation were manifest, his time was now to go back home, back to Godhead. He saw a very beautiful airplane. It was not an axe. It was not an axe. Or he was not using a tool or something. The beautiful airplane came on its own. He saw a very beautiful airplane coming down from the sky, as if the brilliant full moon were coming down, illuminating all the 10 directions. Dhruv Maharaj saw two very beautiful associates of Lord Vishnu in the plain. They had 4 hands and a blackish bodily luster. They were very youthful, and their eyes were just like reddish lotus flowers. They held clubs in their hands, and they were dressed in very attractive garments with helmets and were decorated with necklaces, bracelets, and earrings. So for a devotee, it comes as a marriage invitation. Like, please come, right? Like that. The two person will come to know Nanda, Sunanda. They are coming, please come with us now to Dhruv Maharaj. Dhruv Maharaj, seeing that these uncommon personalities were direct servants of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, immediately stood up. But being puzzled in hastiness, he forgot how to receive them in a proper way. Therefore, he simply offered obeisance with folded hands and chanted and glorified the holy name of the Lord. He was the shock, but the shock was actually good. It was not like a scary shock. Dhruv Maharaj was always absorbed in thinking of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. His heart was full with Krishna, and the two confidential servants of Supreme Lord, who were named Nanda and Sunanda, approached him. Smiling happily, Dhruv stood with folded hands, bowing humbly. They then addressed him as follows. We'll see what he says, what they say. So can we scroll down more? Yeah, maybe we'll read one more verse. This is Nanda and Sunanda, the two confidential servants, associates of Lord Vishnu, said, "Dear King, let there be all good fortune unto you. Please attentively hear what we shall say. When you were only 5 years old, you underwent severe austerities, and you thereby greatly satisfied the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And then he says it is very difficult to even for great rishis to even achieve that position. So can we go up? There is a beautiful purport by Srila Prabhupada in one of these verses. Can you go up? Can you click on 20th verse? Can you scroll? No. Can you go next? Can you scroll? Yeah. So in this verse, Srila Prabhupada gives a very nice purport. He says, this is the time when they are, Dhruv Maharaj is a little shocked seeing Nanda and Sunanda, right? And they are about to take him back. He's a devotee, he's going to take him back to the Godhead, to Krishna Lok. So now purport, chanting of the holy name of the Lord is perfect in every way. When Dhruv Maharaj saw the Vishnu Dutas, the direct associates of Lord Vishnu, 4-handed and nicely decorated, he could understand who they were. But for the time being, he was puzzled. But simply by chanting the holy name of the Lord, the Hare Krishna mantra, he could satisfy the uncommon guest who had all of a sudden arrived before him. The chanting of the holy name of the Lord is perfect. Even though one does not know how to please Lord Vishnu or his associates, simply by sincerely chanting the holy name of the Lord, everything becomes perfect. Right? We saw that, right? Dhruv Maharaj was not able to understand how to now offer prayers because he was so much in confusion, right? Shock. But just by chanting the holy name of the Lord, everything becomes perfect. A devotee, therefore, either in danger or in happiness, constantly chants the Hare Krishna mantra. When he is in danger, he is immediately relieved. And when he is in a position to see Lord Vishnu or his associates directly, by chanting this Maha Mantra, he can please the Lord. This is the absolute nature of Maha Mantra. Either in danger or in happiness, it can be chanted without limitation. Right? So for a materialist, death comes like an axe. For a yogis or kshatriyas, death comes like a tool. They use it as a tool to go to the next destination. But for a devotee, death comes like an invitation. Right? So that is the difference between a demoniac leaving the world and a devotee leaving the world. Okay, we'll go back to the slides. So we completed 3 sections. Correct? First was 1 to 8, that was vision. Second was from 9 to 31, that was the inconceivable universal form. And third was reply. Third is now we are reading the third section. Sorry, now we are starting the third section. This is R. R is reply by Krishna. So Arjuna asked 2 questions. Who are you? And then what is your mission? Right? So Krishna is not in a joking mood. He's in universal form. So he's not in joking mood. And now he'll answer also like that. Very serious. So we will see. Who wants to read? This is a small section, only 3 verses. Someone wants to read?
I can read again, Prabhu.
Sure, please.
Text 32. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Time I am, the great destroyer of the worlds, and I have come here to destroy all people. With the exception of you, the Pandavas, all the soldiers here on both sides will be slain. Text 33. Therefore get up, prepare to fight and win glory. Conquer your enemies and enjoy a flourishing kingdom. They are already put to death by my arrangement, and you, O Sabyasachi, can be but an instrument in the fight. Text 34. Drona, Bhishma, Jayadratha, Karna, and the other great warriors have already been destroyed by me. Therefore, kill them and do not be disturbed. Simply fight, and you will vanquish your enemies in battle.
Yeah. So here we are seeing a very, very important verse comes where Krishna is saying, Nimitta Matra Bhavya Sabyasachi. 33rd verse. In 34th verse, basically this is the slide. The photos are based on, this is Jayadratha. Then next is Karna, Bhishma, and this is Drona. Right? They are all getting destroyed. So in 33rd verse, Krishna is saying that Nimitta Matra Bhavya Sabyasachi. Krishna is saying that actually all these are already defeated, destroyed, killed by me. You just have to fight and win the glory, right? So nimitta matra, just be nimitta matra. We sometimes think that we have done, right? Similarly, especially when someone comes to Krishna consciousness, maybe we got connected with them, and initial years we might think that it is because of us that they are continuing their devotional service. But after 8, 9, 10 years consistently doing, then we realize that we were just nimitta matra. They actually were born to become a devotee, to continue where they left off, right? So Krishna just puts us in certain situations where we become nimitta matra. Like I remember earlier days, I used to be already scared of sort of book distribution, right? Coming on the streets, distributing books, then asking for Lakshmi, money, a little difficult. But then once I just heard, and always, every Saturday morning, Haladhar Prabhu used to ask, okay, Prabhu, can we go for books this time? And some or the other excuse I used to come up with. And Haladhar Prabhu, just being a nice Vaishnava, used to say, okay, no problem, Prabhu. Right? But obviously he knew that I'm just lying just to avoid the situation. But once Vaishnav gave a session on how to do books and just felt inspired. And then in Haight-Ashbury, we went. It was one of the biggest festival that happens once a year in Haight-Ashbury. And books were just flying. In Hindi, we say maske ki tarah it was going. Like butter, it was just flying. And everyone was giving $5 for each Bhagavad Gita. And I thought, oh, it's so easy, we can easily do it. It's nothing much. It's so nothing less difficult or something. And then next week I went for Fisherman's Walk and nobody took the book. Not even a single book was taken. And that's when I was remembering Vaishnav was saying that we are just instrument in the hands of Krishna. Nimitta matra. We're just nimitta matra. We might think that we are doing, but actually we are just instrument. Like there's a famous, one story where a mendicant was going from place to place just to get some alms for his family. And from morning he was walking, but he did not get anything. And finally he reached an atheist place. An atheist said that from morning you have been walking, chanting the glories of the Lord. This is what God gave you, nothing. And you still believe in him. And he said, no problem. If he wants to give, he will give. If he doesn't want to give, it's okay. But I will continue my chanting of the Lord's names. And then the atheist said that, okay, now understand. I am the person who doesn't believe in God, and I am the one giving to you. I have the capacity to give it to you, and I don't believe in God. So understand that there is no God. So he gave some food items to him so that he can cook. And then getting the food items from him, he suddenly started dancing. The mendicant, who was a devotee, started dancing. So this atheist got completely confused. Why is he dancing? Why is he so elated? And the devotee said, imagine how amazing Krishna is. Krishna is able to give me through even a person who is not at all believing in Krishna. That is the power of Krishna. That even you, he made you an instrument to give something to me who is believer in God and you have no belief in God. So that's how a devotee sees. He sees everyone as nimitta matra, nimitta matra, an instrument in Krishna's hands. So that's what Krishna is also telling to Arjuna, that just be nimitta matra. You are just become an instrument and fight. Okay, so this is the third section. So first was vision, second was inconceivable universal form, third is reply by Krishna. And we'll go to the next section now, 35th to 46. So we can go to the next verse. Next section, 46. Now, Arjuna has seen the universal form. So now Arjuna will pray. Now Arjuna's prayers will start from 35th to 46. Maybe this one I can read. Sanjay said to Dhritarashtra, O king, after hearing these words from Supreme Personality of Godhead, the trembling Arjuna offered obeisances with folded hands again and again. He fearfully spoke to Lord Krishna in faltering voice as follows. Arjuna said, O master of the senses, the world becomes joyful upon hearing your name, and thus everyone become attached to you. Although the perfected beings offer you their respectful homage, the demons are afraid and they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. That's why I showed the picture of Narasimha Dev. Hiranyakashipu is completely afraid at the end of his life, right? And they flee here and there. All this is rightly done. O great one, greater even than Brahma, you are the original creator. Why then should they not offer their respectful obeisances unto you? O limitless one, God of gods, the refuge of the universe, you are the invincible source, the cause of all causes, transcendental to this material manifestation. You are the original personality of Godhead, the oldest, the ultimate sanctuary of this manifested cosmic world. You are the knower of everything, and you are all that is knowable. You are the supreme refuge above the material modes, O limitless form. This whole cosmic manifestation is pervaded by you. We go to the next verse, next section. Next slide. You are air and you are the supreme controller. You are fire, you are water, and you are the moon. You are Brahma, the first living creature, and you are the great grandfather. Arjuna is praying like this. I therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto you 1,000 times and again and yet again. Obeisances to you from the front, from behind, and from all sides. O unbounded power, you are the master of the limitless might. You are all pervading, and thus you are everything. This is the photo based on 41st, 42nd verse. Thinking of you as my friend, I have rashly addressed you as you. O Krishna, O Yadava, O my friend. Not knowing your glories, please forgive whatever I may have done in madness or in love. I have dishonored you many times, jesting as we relaxed, lay on the same bed, or sat or ate together, sometimes alone or sometimes in front of many friends. O infallible one, please excuse me for all those offenses. We can go to the next one. You are the father of this complete cosmic manifestation of the moving and the non-moving. You are its worshipable chief, the supreme spiritual master. No one is greater than you. No one can anyone be one with you. How then could there be anyone greater than you within the three worlds? O Lord of the immeasurable power. You are the supreme Lord to be worshipped by every living being. Thus I fall down to offer you my respectful obeisances and ask your mercy. As a father tolerates the impudence of his son, a friend the impertinence of a friend, or a husband the familiarity of his wife, please tolerate the wrongs I may have done you. After seeing this universal form, which I have never seen before, I am gladdened, but at the same time, my mind is disturbed with fear. So devotee is glad, but he's also disturbed with fear. But a non-devotee like Duryodhana was completely in anger. Therefore, please bestow your grace upon me and reveal again your form as the personality of Godhead, O Lord of Lords, O Abode of the universe. O universal form, O thousand-armed Lord, I wish to see you in your four-armed form, with helmeted head and with club, wheel, conch, and lotus flower in your hands. I long to see you in that form. Right? So we see that how Arjuna is actually now praying to Krishna. So in this finally 46th verse, he's asking that I wish to see you in your four-armed form. Because he was so scared of seeing that universal form, he understood who is Krishna. Now he wants to get a little relief. He's saying, please show your four-handed form. So four-handed form in the next section, the fifth section, last section of Bhagavad Gita, chapter 11, he will show the two-handed form. That is the end of the section. So can we go to the next slide? Two-armed form. So this is the section, the final section of chapter 11. Someone wants to read this section. This is the last one. We can end after that.
I can read, Prabhu.
Sure. Thank you so much, Prabhu.
The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, My dear Arjun, happily have I shown you by my internal potency the supreme universal form within the material world. No one before you has ever seen this primal form, unlimited and full of glaring effulgence. O best of the Kuru warriors, no one before you has ever seen this universal form of mine, for neither by studying the Vedas nor by performing sacrifices, nor by charity, nor by pious activities, nor by severe penances can I be seen in this form in the material world. You have been perturbed and bewildered by seeing this horrible feature of mine. Now let it be finished. My devotee, be free again from all disturbances. With a peaceful mind, you can now see the form you desire. Sanjaya said to Dhritarashtra, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, having spoken thus to Arjuna, displayed his real four-armed form and at last showed his two-armed form, thus encouraging the fearful Arjuna.
Yeah, so we see this, right? Four-armed form is also there, and a child two-armed form is also there in the picture. In this case, Vasudeva and Devaki is seeing.
Yeah.
And we also see that how he was perturbed. And then Krishna is saying, now I will show you the two-armed form. Yes. So you can go to the next verse. The next last slide. This is, yeah. This shows that who can actually see the two-armed form, right? If we see, Arjuna always had the two-arm, had the prema chakshu, right? Because to see the two-armed form, one has to have a prema chakshu. But from prema chakshu, he went to the jnana chakshu, because jnana yogis only can, perceive that universal form. So now he's again coming back to the higher form, higher chakshu, which is the prema chakshu. 51 to 55. Oh, please continue. This is the last slide.
When Arjuna thus saw Krishna in his original form, he said, O Janardhan, seeing this human-like form so very beautiful, I am now composed in mind, and I am restored to my original nature. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, my dear Arjuna, this form of mine you are now seeing is very difficult to behold. Even the demigods are ever seeking the opportunity to see this form, which is so dear. The form you are seeing with your transcendental eyes cannot be understood simply by studying the Vedas, nor by undergoing serious penances, nor by charity, nor by worship. It is not by these means that one can see me as I am. My dear Arjuna, only by undivided devotional service can I be understood as I am, standing before you, and can thus be seen directly. Only in this way can you enter into the mysteries of my understanding. My dear Arjuna, he who engages in my pure devotional service, free from the contaminations of fruitive activities and mental speculation, he who works for me, he who makes me the supreme goal of his life, and who is friendly to every living being, he certainly comes to me.
Yeah, that's why there's Srila Prabhupada's photo, right? He actually personifies or shows from his example what really means by doing pure devotional service, right? Free from contaminations of fruitive activities and speculation. He worked for Krishna actually. At the age of 70, where everyone retires, he came to USA. And he made Krishna the supreme goal of his life. Not just his supreme goal of life, but he also made other people also making Krishna as their supreme goal of life. Right? He was friendly with everyone. Right? People who might not have taken Krishna consciousness, but even they had a lot of high regards for Srila Prabhupada. Right? Ajata Shatru, he's like an Ajata Shatru. He has no enemies. Right? He is friendly to every living being. He certainly comes to me. So, about Srila Prabhupada, he actually showed how one can actually see Krishna. He actually showed that to us. So we'll stop here. These are the 5 sections. We'll go to the next slide. This is just a summarization of the whatever you have summarized of the chapter 11. So the verses 1 to 8 talks about the vision, right? Where Arjuna is asking that, okay, in 42nd verse, you're saying that you pervade everywhere. Please show me that form where you're pervading everywhere. And Krishna is saying that I will give you that vision by which you can see that form. And 9 to 31, Krishna is showing his universal form. Sanjay is describing a universal form. And Arjuna is also saying what he is seeing. And that is very inconceivable, cannot be understood by a materialist person. Very inconceivable universal form. And then Arjuna in 31st verse is asking Krishna that, Krishna, you please tell me. After seeing that he was so disturbed, he said, who are you and what is your mission? What do you really want to do? So then there are replies by Sri Krishna where he's saying that I am the destroyer. I have come here to finish all the demons, and you become Nimitta Matra Bhavesa Visachi. You become the Nimitta Matra. And from 35th to 46th verse, after hearing all this, after seeing the universal form, Arjuna starts to pray. Arjuna's prayer starts, that is praying to Krishna. And finally, Arjuna is saying that please show your four-handed form. I want to feel relieved. And then Krishna is saying that showing his four-handed form, and from four-handed form, finally showing his two-armed form to Arjuna. Very sweet chapter. This actually, for a non-devotee, it should be a humbling experience that this is what Krishna is. We might just think Krishna is one of the Devata, but he's actually Supreme Personality of Godhead. And for a devotee, it is such a sweet discussion between Arjuna and Krishna, not in terms of sweet, in terms of actual words, because it was very wondrous and very shocking also. And Krishna also was in a mood where he's saying that I am, but at the same time showing that four-handed form and two-handed form, that sakha, that friendship is also there between Arjuna and Krishna. So thank you very much for everyone to patiently hearing and tolerating. If since we have 3 minutes left, if anyone wants to just share whatever they heard, something that struck to them that they want to share or reflect back, we can open now for 3 minutes. Thank you.
Anyone wants to share, please unmute and you can share.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank Hare Krishna, Vishak Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, this was my first live Bhagavad Gita class. Thank you for introducing me to this, because I was waiting for a long time and it happened so suddenly. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it is ISV's glories, that how, Nimitta Matra, they are actually becoming an instrument for so many jivas who want to hear, like so many devotees like you want to hear about Bhagavad Gita. In fact, there is thank you so much, Prabhu. There's actually one story where Arjuna, at the end of the entire battlefield, he tells to Krishna, because he understands that Krishna is actually Supreme Personality of Godhead. He tells Krishna, you please first you get down from the chariot. Pehle aap. And Krishna says, Pehle aap. Pehle aap. And then Arjuna thinks, okay, I will only get down. Krishna is saying. So he gets down. And then as soon as Krishna gets down from the chariot, after Arjuna gets down and Krishna gets down from the chariot, that chariot actually completely gets dismantled to fine particles. And then Arjuna actually realized that Krishna is the one who was holding that entire chariot. I was thinking that I was doing, but actually Krishna was the one who was handling everything. So yeah. Thank you, Prabhu, for patiently listening for 1.5 hours.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Prabhu, this was my first time as well. So this is my first Bhagavad Gita lesson.
Thank you, Rajashekar Prabhu. You are coming all the way from New York. It's 10 o'clock for you. Thank you. Okay.
Thank you, Acyuta Prabhu, for taking the class. It was so nice. You shared your personal examples as well.
Thank you, Anil Prabhu. Thank you for listening, and also for participating in reading of some of the sections of 11th chapter.
Thank you. Thank you for giving us the opportunity, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Okay, it's 8:30 now. We will stop here.
Thank you. Very, very wonderful slides. Very nicely. And that Virat, that is a very nice acronym you invented, Prabhu, for this. For us to remember, to summarize, that's a very nice acronym for this chapter.
Thank you, Ashramada Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. It's also easy to remember.
Yeah. I was just thinking what to keep, and then suddenly just felt this will be nice. It is also connected to Virat Rupa.
Yeah.
Thank you. And also thanks to all the devotees who might be hearing on YouTube or Facebook or any other social media. And also thanks to Gandharvika Mataji for giving the opportunity to speak something on the glories of Krishna. Yeah. We'll stop here. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyeva patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu ki jai.
Jai.
Prabhupada ki jai. Okay.
Jai.
Devotees will now close the session.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhu.